Darren Barden, Blue Peter, like I've caught you up on Latin Common, out for a walk. But tell us about this walk.
Well, first of all, it feels like a slower version of Forrest Gump right now. So with the interview. So the idea behind the walk was, number one, to raise some money towards the campaign, which I'll explain in a moment. But then beyond that, it was actually bringing about awareness. You know, people that know me know that I was brutally stabbed 20 odd years ago. And my journey began then, but actually it was some 15 years after when it really kicked in with post-traumatic stress syndrome, so PTSD, or disorder. So that's when it actually really kicked in for me, all those years after. Since then, I was always helping victims of crime. I was working with victim support, I was working with Mind, but it was always help after the event. And something needed a change. And I met up through my book, Let's Skip to the Good Bits. I met up with some interesting people, characters, former hardened criminals, bank robbers and people like that, just who had put their lives straight, put their lives back in order, and were now doing good work to prevent other people suffering. And it suddenly made me realise that a figure of 70% of criminals re-offend when they come out of prison. That means 70% of those guys are going to create more victims of crime. In a lot of cases, that's knife crime. And it turns into violent crime. And in some cases, obviously, that is a gang culture as well. That's when I decided I need to stop what I was doing, dealing with the problem after the event, and actually go to the situation before the event. And this is why what we do is we want to try, our mantra is prevent, rehabilitate and educate. And that's what we want to try and do. So the prevention side of it, if we can make enough people aware, create a culture where it's not cool to carry a knife, it's not big and it's not clever, then if people do make that mistake, we can actually rehabilitate these people and stop them creating other victims of crime. And above all else, if we can educate younger people coming through that this isn't the way forward, then we've achieved something.
And you're on a middle of a 13-mile walk, and this is all part of your fundraising, isn't it?
Absolutely. So the idea behind it is we're opening up I don't know what you call it, a school or a college, an education centre in the Midlands, where we're going to take young offenders that have behaved themselves through their rehabilitation and give them opportunities to retrain in the construction industry, so bricklaying, plastering, steel work, wherever it may be. We're also going into schools to do educational talks from various angles, from the point of people that carried knives, from myself who's been a victim of crime. So all this is what we need the funding for, and this is the important part. You know, we can't do this on fresh air. We need money to be able to do what we do.
And do you worry for the young people? Say, for example, Harlow. I know there's a national aspect to this, but say Harlow, young people, how do you worry for them when it comes to things like knife crime, etc.?
Absolutely, because there's a lot of lost souls out there, and they're vulnerable. They can easily get into a gang culture. I don't believe we've got that so much in Harlow. I don't think it's such a big problem, but it is out there, and they can get involved in it very easily. So, you know, from my point of view, it's no good waiting until we've got a problem in Harlow. Let's stop it now. Let's make sure that people are aware of the dangers of carrying a knife. You know, so, you know, the fact that you're going to go around and potentially stab someone, maim them, kill them, you know, destroy a family, isn't a good idea. Isn't something you should be doing as fun. You know, but the other thing as well, if you're carrying a weapon of any type, but especially a knife, that weapon can be taken from you and used on you. Then it becomes very uncool. You know, so before we get a problem in Harlow, before it becomes the culture of some of the other cities around the country, let's stop it. Let's educate people and put them right now.
And people you have, you know, through your social media, some of the people you've met and got on board, I see photographs, etc.
Yep.
Have they all got different stories of how they got to a certain place, and then also how they got out of it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And as I said earlier, you know, I've met guys. I've got a particular friend of mine who helps with a campaign, who used to carry a knife. He used to go round. He was one of those idiots that carried a knife and actually used it on other people. You know, he's now realised the error of his ways. And someone like him who really understands what that gang culture's like and that type of life is like, his input is invaluable to us. It's so important. You know, as much as mine is being on the wrong end of knife crime, it's also important to get the people that used to do that, because they understand how they got into it. So everybody's views is really, really important, and all their stories and all their journeys are real valid to what we do.
And the book,
yeah,
still going well?
Yeah, it's funny enough. Obviously, lockdown's done me proud. you know, I've sold more books in the last 3 months than I did in the previous 2 years. So yeah, I mean, it's been the platform for doing what I'm going to be doing next, which is the YouTube channel, which is called The Barber Chair, where we're interviewing people that have got a story to tell, understand mental health, but now inspire others. So we're going to be filming in Antonio's barber shop in the Old Town, and we're going to be hopefully getting people to be inspired from listening to the show as well as what we do on the ground.
Brilliant. So we're now at Latin Common,
Yep.
middle of your walk. Where else are you going to on this walk?
Right, so from here I'm heading down towards Stewart School, all the way down Commonside Road, past Stewart School, which is where I went to school, my senior school, then through Brockelsmead, where my actual attack happened, where I was brutally stabbed, then through Millwoods, where I grew up as a child. I'm going to walk right round Millwoods, down past the Cock Pub and Kingsmore Road, up to the Pinnacles, along to Pet's Corner, from Pet's Corner, pick up with a friend of mine, Graham Norcott, who's his cancer's just come back for the 4th time. He's going to walk with me for a short spell, and then it's back into the Old Town, hopefully finishing at the Crown, and they might even be able to sneak a little takeaway for me out of the back. So
Well, we'll let you go, and all the best.